So some of you guys have been asking for some Uncharted like gameplay, and I know some of you guys like subscribed to me for that very reason. So I figured I'd upload some Uncharted 2 gameplay. I'll upload some Uncharted 3 stuff later if you guys really want to. But I'm here to talk about Uncharted 2's multiplayer and the evolution of it. And I have to start from the beginning, and where I started from was I was introduced to Uncharted via the Uncharted 2 multiplayer summer beta, which came with the game Infamous, which is a good game. And I was really like thrown back by just how well put together Uncharted 2's multiplayer the beta was when I played it. It was just so well balanced. The gunplay was balanced. The maps were balanced. Everything was just so good. And I literally played that beta like more than any beta I had ever played ever. Like I played that all the time. It was crazy. I fell in love with the multiplayer, and I hadn't even played Uncharted 1 prior to the Uncharted 2 multiplayer beta. And then that motivated me to get Uncharted 1 the game, and I was really like amazed that Uncharted 1 didn't have multiplayer, because Uncharted 2's the betas for the multiplayer was so well put together, and it was pretty crazy. And I mean, I still remember the little things. Like, I still remember how most people know now the hammer in Uncharted 2 and 32 with the 8 shots, but in the Uncharted 2 multiplayer beta, we didn't have that. We had like the little grenade launcher from Uncharted 1, the one-shot one. It was so useless. It was so bad. You couldn't even kill somebody if you hit them head on with it. It was the worst power-up I ever had seen. But minor little gripe aside, I mean, I remember all the little details. It was such a good time. And then Naughty Dog released the Uncharted 2 multiplayer demo, and I played the crap out of that as well. Like I was playing that demo more than I was playing the full games I had at the time. I mean, I remember the level cap being like 30, and I was still playing it even when I was capped out. And eventually, of course, I got the game, and the multiplayer was phenomenal still. Like, it was more or less the same, and it was as the demos or whatever. It was so well put together. I couldn't believe it. And to me, I would rank that multiplayer at that time as one of the best multiplayers I ever played, up there with the ranks of Counter-Strike, Halo. It was just so balanced, so well put together. I couldn't believe Naughty Dog didn't have experience with multiplayer games prior to that, but I guess so. But I mean, the good times, I guess, didn't last for long. Eventually, Naughty Dog decided to do a little poll or whatever via like some complaints about how people thought that people were eating too many bullets in the multiplayer, and that poll, which first started as a little experiment, eventually turned into what happened, which was 1.05. They lowered the health overall, and it literally changed Uncharted 2's multiplayer forever, in more ways than I think even Naughty Dog would have expected. The balance of the guns and the way people were playing, it was just totally different. It changed the landscape of the multiplayer, and I would say for the worst, but that's just my opinion. And I know some of you guys didn't even get to play Uncharted 2 after 1.0. Some guys didn't even know what Uncharted 2 multiplayer was even like before, like the lower health, or like before when the health was higher. And I understand that some of you guys came a little bit late, but to me, I started out with Uncharted from the very beginning, the multiplayer wise, and after they tweaked the health with Uncharted 2 multiplayer, it just wasn't the same. Like, to me, it was broken completely. And I know some of you guys still say to this day Uncharted 2 multiplayer is better than Uncharted 3, but I honestly wouldn't agree. But I wouldn't say Uncharted 3's multiplayer is much better than Uncharted 2 by any means. It's just Uncharted 2's multiplayer was ruined to me after 1.05, and I can safely say I only kept playing because of the people I was playing with. I was playing that multiplayer even after 1.05 with the bittersweet feeling of the game itself, and like, was I even really enjoying it anymore? Like, almost like it was a factor of just nostalgia, like remembering how good Uncharted 2 was, and I was having fun playing with the people I was playing with. But when I really like thought about it and think back to it, that game after 1.05 was not good. And you can disagree with me if you want, but to me, that multiplayer was not good after 1.05. And I know some of you guys will still say Uncharted 2 multiplayer is the best, but I sometimes feel like you guys are blinded by some of the nostalgia of either how good it used to be, or how, like, oh, I used to play with my friends. I played that game way more than Uncharted 3. I like gave up on Uncharted 3 and Blind Fire and etc. etc. But when you really think back at it, was it really a good multiplayer game? Like, go back to it right now and, like, honestly, is it really that good? I really don't think it is. It was broken after 1.05, and if you guys didn't really get to experience that drastic change, then maybe your experiences are probably definitely different from mine. But to me, after 1.05, it was not the same game. And I really can't stress that enough. I mean, you can look at the patch notes and stuff for yourself. You can just look it up probably still, but I literally only kept playing because of the people I was playing with, and I don't really know if I was still enjoying the game at that point. And I know some of you guys will still say to this day that Uncharted 2 multiplayer is better, it takes more skill or whatever, but I definitely don't agree with that. But I also am not saying that Uncharted 3's multiplayer is by far superior than Uncharted 2 currently. I mean, when I say it's better, I mean it by the slightest of margins, like legitimately, barely. And I don't really play Uncharted 3 anymore, so I don't really keep up with what's going on. I'm just assuming people nowadays just blind fire or whatever. That's what I'm assuming after the H.A.M nerf. But I'll talk about Uncharted 3 some other time. That'll be another topic discussion if people really want me to express my opinions on that. But to me, Uncharted 2 multiplayer just isn't good. And some of you guys just say, "Oh, it's better" and stuff. Like, I feel like it's not exactly like you're not evaluating the gameplay so much as you're basing this opinion on your feelings and your nostalgia and how much time you spent with it. I mean, just because you played that game all the time with your friends does not mean that that game was good. I mean, you could be playing the shittiest game with your friends all the time, and I mean, if they were such good friends, I guess that would make that experience enjoyable. But when you think about it, that game wasn't good. Like, you can't really keep playing a game and say it's good just because you had fun with your friends. That doesn't mean necessarily translate into that game was good. But I mean, this is a short little video, some quick thoughts. Maybe I'll talk about it more. And leave your thoughts and comments below because I really want to start a discussion about this. See what you guys feel, where do you guys stand, and I'll see you guys later.